美国男子冲入媒体镜头。
场景一
very quickly that the society and how life runs here is very harmonious, and it does allow you to feel very safe. Now I'm going to dig into that a little deeper during the course of this video, so stick around and you can hear my thoughts on it anyway. Now, China, as you will know, it gets bashed a lot in the media. People who have never been here, they do misunderstand it greatly, and I think it's really unfortunate because there's a lot of fantastic aspects to China that I feel like people are missing out on because they don't have an open mind about the country and they're not willing to come and experience it for themselves. And this, about safety, is one of those things where you just expressing it through a camera is not enough. You know, I feel like it's something that you have to experience for yourself for you to really, truly have a perspective change, you know. And that's definitely what happened to me, because growing up in the UK, you know, I grew up in a village which was pretty safe, you know. It's a kind of countryside, it's the Cotswolds area. I didn't grow up in a city, and there's a fair amount of crime in UK cities, and that's just the same as many countries across the world, you know. There's a lot of crime, and if you're going out at night, you want to be kind of wary, especially if you're on your own, and even more so if you're a female on your own. It's not really advised to go out at night by yourself. Now,
场景二
I often travel to other countries. The difference of the transformation is very, very impressive. In China, of course, the increase of the standard of life in the city has increased even much better, much more. I mean, the standard of life in some Chinese cities is just incredible, higher than in Europe sometimes. But in the countryside, the standard of life has also increased. Not as much as in the city, but has increased very much. And I think this is maybe the biggest success of the Chinese development policy, is to have been able to share.
场景三
2014, according to the International Comparison Program of the World Bank, according to GDP measured by purchasing power parity, China actually overtook, by this measure, the United States to become the largest economy in the world. This was a truly remarkable transformation in a remarkably short space of time. But it wasn't just the transformation of China. It was also the transformation, or the beginning of the transformation, of the world. Until very recently, the vast majority...
场景四
Petty crime, serious crime, indiscriminate crime was a problem in my country. And I heard other YouTubers talk about, China is the safest place in the world that I was telling you about. The sense of safety comes from that freedom of fear. Everybody talks about the different examples. You can walk around in the middle of the night, man or woman, and feel safe. I can leave my car unlocked and not worry, oh my God, what's going to happen if I park here? In my country, for example, if you park by the roadside, you need to check.
场景五
You're the one here at 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't even blame the Chinese. I don't blame them at all. They did everything wrong. It's you all that are hyping things up. Goodbye. Have a good morning.
The stores, like all of the stores, have no boards on the windows because there's no riots going on here. There's no Black Lives Matter riots. There's no COVID-19 people that say, oh, I lost my job, I need assistance, I need help. All of these things aren't happening here in China, where in the United States it's a different story, guys and girls. I'm going to be going back and forth between a clip that was taken in Manhattan here not too long ago and what I'm talking about here in China.
This is what the media did not show.
场景六
这2天呢，所有的中文老师都会来这个酒店培训。Oh, Ari, I think this is the dinner. Are you hungry?
Yes. I'm the first one to start eating in this whole hotel.
晚餐已经开始了。
可爱的蟑螂
从那边，对，从那边。
嗨姐，
吃晚饭了。
So we got the classic fried chicken.
场景7。
Well, to be honest, we didn't really like it. It was really chaotic and really busy, and it was too much for us. But like we've been here now 5 days, and we do love it now. We feel like we're part of China now. We know our way around, and we've met lots of people, and everyone's so friendly. We know the food, and
once you get your to know the system and how things work, it's a lot nicer, and it's really nice. Yeah,
I think the more you know it, the better.
场景8。
看到关于中国好的报道，几乎所有的媒体都在说中国不好。直到我哥哥娶了我嫂子，他是中国东北的，他安排我们一家人来到中国。我第一次来就爱上了这里，后来我搬来中国，到今年快5年了。我现在只要有机会就会跟我的外国朋友说中国有多好，我也会拍一系列的视频发。
场景9。
billion Chinese, over 90% of them think they belong to the same race, the Han. Now, this is completely different from the other world's most populous countries. India, the United States, Indonesia.
场景10。
Cornered the market in 5G and pharmaceuticals. Oh, and they bought Africa. Their new Silk Road initiative is the biggest infrastructure project in history, indebting not just that continent, but large parts of Asia, Europe, and the Middle East to the people who built their roads, bridges, and ports. If you want to go anywhere in the world these days, you better have a yen for travel. Yen for travel. Oh, stop it. In China alone, they have 40,000 kilometers of high-speed rail. America has none. Our fastest train is the tram that goes around the zoo. China sees a problem.
场景11。
Into feng shui, and then she found out that there's a master like in Shenzhen, close to Hong Kong. So she came here to take a course. Is that how you say it? A course?
Yeah.
Yeah, course in feng shui. And
really?
She was here like for 6 months studying feng shui, and she fell in love with it. And then she was like, I gotta bring my family.
No
so she
shit.
brought us in 2007 to do another course and to travel around China. And from then she was like, you have to go there, it's the future of the world, you have to learn Chinese. And of course, back then I didn't really want to, you know, like young people usually want to go to Europe or USA, Disney.
Yeah.
But somehow I came, I loved it, and now I live here.
Now, when did she realize that like China was the future? Was that even 15 years ago, or did it take her some time before she was like, I guess.
场景12。
不相同。美国自由式滑雪 U 型池运动员艾伦·布克隆在新闻发布会上谈到了自己对于本届冬奥会的看法，认为从住宿到核酸检测再到赛前准备工作，这是他参加过的一次高水平的冬奥会。他的队友亚历克斯·费雷拉则用真诚和友善来形容奥运村的工作人员，他们总是向我们挥手，看起来很興奮，这真的让眼前一亮。本届奥运会，美国负责转播的媒体刚开始。
场景13。
항상 알지? 플레이어보다 스태프가 더 고생하는 거죠.
네.
정재가 고생 많이 했어요.
진짜 사실은 보이지 않는 곳에서 너무 고생했어요. 형이 뒤에서 사진 찍고 음악 틀고 진짜 너무 고생했습니다.
누구나 다 고생했습니다.
형 고생했어요. 박PD 진짜 최고. 뮤직비디오도 진짜 멋있게 찍어주고 진짜 최고예요.
뮤직비디오 지금 찍어야 되는데. 여기가 바로 송쯔먼 짠입니다.
맨 처음으로 왔었던데
4일이 지난 지금 얼마나 발전되어 있는가 한번 테스트해볼게요. 자, 자기소개 부탁드립니다.
大家好，我是冷钱。我的天哪，该死的好吃，我爱你。
오케이.
사랑해.
지금 이 비면 간단하게 프리스타일 한번 해볼까?
Yeah.
Yeah.
비트 없어요, 비트. Yeah.
场景14。场景15。
对中国嘛，它是从小我热爱的一个地方。我最热爱中国的民族文化和电影和音乐的。后来我小时候就看中国的少林功夫，后来也看中国的成龙的所有的电影。后来我12岁通过中国的电影，用中文德语字典学会了中文。自学的，完全自学的。我说中国醒来了，全世界会发抖。这个时候，没有人相信中国会是未来的，没有人知道的。我们德国太严谨啊，在中国我觉得很放松，就是很开心。后来我老早住在石库门啊，就邻居都会关心我的呀，就不吃肆的呀。
我想问一下那个谭雅丽，聊了半天，妈。
场景16。
They spend a lot of time together. They buy houses together and all live in one big house.
You have a good style. Good. Your language is very difficult.
It's maybe difficult for them to integrate. They tend to be a lot with each other. It's very common to see them
only hang out
together.
Yes.
More than other cultures.
Yes. But what about other foreign communities?
So we do it like when I lived in London. I also had Italian friends. So that's normal. But I also had a lot of friends that were not Italian, and I see this less in Chinese.
People don't know much about China.
Yeah.
They have like all the countries in Asia are the same. All the food and the behavior.
They think like that's small. That's all the same.
场景17。
PCR tests within 48 hours of each other. So in the next 2 days, I went and got checked twice at the local hospital. With my 2 negative PCR tests on my phone, I headed to Hongqiao Airport. We're leaving the dreary, misty, freezing cold Shanghai to go to the beach for Chinese New Year. As soon as I walked in the door, I had to show my green Shanghai QR code. At check-in, I showed my 2 PCR tests. And when I was boarding the plane, they gave me some hand sanitizer, they checked my temperature, and again, I showed my 2 PCR tests. The flight was very normal. Obviously, everyone had to keep their masks on the whole time.
场景18。
Scale that things are done here and the scale of how big the cities are and just how big and upscaled everything is in comparison
well,
to...
Well, just Shanghai, where we are now, has a population of 30 million people. That's just under half the population of the whole of the UK in one city.
I know, that's absolutely mad. Like when in the UK, like I've only been to London. I live in a very rural area, or lived in a very rural area, in a village probably of 2,000 people. So I've been to London maybe 3 times, and whenever I went, I thought, wow, like the buildings and everything's so big here. But coming to China has really put things into perspective. Like London.
场景19。
3个字儿 3 words. Phone is king. It's pretty simple. You can take the 12306 app or the C-Trip app or the Tunar app, any one of those, take your passport number, put it in, and you can buy a ticket on the spot and collect it in the station.
场景20。
Well, let me tell you. 7. How many do you think are in the United States? None. How many do you think are in Europe? None. It's remarkable what is happening here. Now, is it remarkable in some senses? Yes, of course it is, but we go back to this point, that China has been a dominant economic power through human history. It comes because of the Central Plain, which I was walking right across, between the Yellow River and the Yangtze River. It's an immensely fertile plain. It's surrounded by hills.
场景21。
The first one, tier 2 cities in China are really okay place, really good place actually for living. It's comfortable, it's have enough international brands, it have amazing people, it's not that high pressure. The rent here is really low, but while salary is getting up, and it's getting better and better every day. We saw an amazing transportation system, a new metro, new parks, new shopping malls, a lot of clubs, bars, whatever you want. And without that pressure as you have in Beijing and Shanghai. And anytime actually you can get to the high-speed railways and then just 2 hours and a half and you're in Beijing. And the second thing, that Taiwan exactly is emerging city. A lot of things happening, a lot of things changing, and they have a lot of ambitions. And what we see here, many of their plans already coming true. It's not just the words, they really change.
场景22。
Mi abuelo es chino. Mi abuelo es chino. Sí. Y uno de los países más poderosos del planeta en cuanto a tecnología.
Bueno, me parece un país muy amplio, me gusta mucho la gente y me gustaría conocer.
Donde hay mucha tecnología, mucha población.
Que nos superan en tecnología todos los otros países, todo eso. Pasado. En comparación de otros países, ustedes tienen más tecnología avanzada que a comparación de Argentina. O sea, vos decís, es mucha comparación.
El gran proveedor mundial. El gran proveedor mundial. Últimamente está influyendo mucho en la economía y la política, sobre todo. Así que creo que viene bien un equilibrio en lo que es las potencias. Y dentro de 5 años calculo que los va a superar a Estados Unidos. Así que espero.